Welcome to another edition of Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe, and in the next half hour, we'll get you caught up on all things Titans athletics here at Eastern Florida State College. Today on the schedule, we get to talk with Ed Giannis, the head coach of the softball program, as they complete their fall training, looking ahead to a very big and important spring season. We'll also get you caught up on the women's soccer program, ranked number one, a consensus number one in the nation. They continue to roll. They are undefeated, fresh off of a couple of wins, and looking to close out the conference schedule real strong with, of course, we'll talk with the head coach, Jeff Carr, but we bring in Vice President for Athletics, the Associate Vice President, the Athletic Director, if you will, and this is your role as we talk about a very big week to start things off. Orlando City, the MLS team over in Orlando, they're getting back into the USL game. And here we are, USLB, they're going to actually play at the Titan Soccer Complex starting in 2016. Had a big, a nice formal gathering the other day. We were all on the field, and it was really a big day for the college, wasn't it?
Absolutely, huge press conference. We got lots of national press from it. I was on the MLS website. We're really excited to work with Orlando City to have this USL team at Titan Stadium. I met Phil Rollins. I've known him for a while. My son's played PDL over there, but a year ago, about a year and a half ago, Phil was over here speaking at a fundraiser, and I asked them after that to come over and see our facility and just say, hey, if there's any chance to have a scrimmage, a practice, anything out here to help Orlando City get in the Brevard County, in the community. So one thing led to another, and then him and Paul McDonough, the general manager, came out and looked at our facilities, and Dr. Ritchie was there with me. And then once Tim Holt came on board at Orlando City, his second day of his being at Orlando City, he came out and we started the process and started discussing it. And at first it was just kind of preliminary, and then it got a lot more serious. So him and I met many times in Orlando and at our stadium. So we're ecstatic to have them. We're ecstatic what the impact is economically for our community and just having a professional sport in Brevard County.
So it was a very long process, and how hard is it to keep that kind of thing under wraps when, this is something that obviously everybody in the department is excited about, and you really couldn't talk about it?
Absolutely, yeah. We had to kind of keep it under wraps because there for a little while they were looking at other venues, but fortunately for us, they always came back to our venue because of all the things we have to offer, from our Jumbotron scoreboard, our state-of-the-art press box and with the TriCaster and all the different type of stuff we have, to the practice field beside, to the underground drainage system we have, to being able to expand our stadium to accommodate what is required from the USL.
And this is a community where this will be successful. Orlando City began as a USL franchise 4 years ago. They want to dip back into that, and they feel this is a good expansion of their footprint, if you will. They've got a lot of big fan base out here on the Space Coast. Here's a way to capitalize on it and use Eastern Florida to their advantage as well.
Absolutely, and there's such a rich tradition of soccer in this area, from high school and amateurs. We've had some young ladies that have played for the U.S. national team, from Ashlyn Harris to Rachel Price when she was living. She also played for the U.S. national team. So huge soccer community, and everyone, the support we've gotten since the press release has come out has been amazing. Absolutely exciting.
Obviously, this requires some sort of an expansion. USL now, they want a stadium that holds 5,000. The Titan Soccer Complex, a really good place to play soccer, but right now it's not up to snuff as far as capacity right now. What are the plans going forward to get that ready for this spring?
Absolutely. So it holds 1,500 right now. So for this year, the USL is allowing them to hold it. They have to have a minimum of 3,500. So we're going to add 2,000 seats on the south end. There's going to kind of be a supporter section in the middle on the south end, and then so on the south end there'll be about 1,100 seats, and then we're putting 3 riser section in front of the permanent grandstand we have right now, which will be about 460, and then we're putting 250 on each end of the permanent bleachers we have right now. So ballpark, it's around 3,500 to 3,545.
When do things get underway? Because obviously this requires you to shuffle what's going on campus at that time of year. When does the preseason begin? Because USL and MLS seasons, they tend to overlap somewhat, but one gets started ahead of the other. When do you have to have things ready for them to come in here?
In February, we'll have to start putting the infrastructure of the temporary bleachers in, and then they also have to bring in a significant amount of porta potties to accommodate the bathroom codes required
Sure.
for that size stands, which we don't have in permanent restrooms at the moment. So that all start taking place in February to get it prepared, from taking a fence down to putting a temporary fence behind it. And so lots going to go on. It's probably take 3 to 4 weeks in February to get it all up to snuff.
How does this venture really affect the actual athletic department as a whole, as far as the kids that are already here, especially in the soccer programs? As Orlando City's announced that they're going to partner up with the NWSL to have a women's soccer team. They announced that this week as well, the Orlando Pride. So it does give something for female soccer players and male soccer players here at this university. Maybe a look, because they'll be playing on the same field, a chance to them to maybe further their career after their college careers are done.
Absolutely, yeah. They'll have more eyes on them right away because Orlando City will be around. So yeah, it's huge exposure, and it's a huge recruiting tool for us as well on the men's and women's side, that we're having professional soccer on our campus.
What is your just impression of just Orlando City as they their brand, and how is that something that was already here on the Space Coast? Did it already trickle in from Orlando a lot, and is this something you think that will grow exponentially because of the way this county supports teams?
Oh, absolutely. If you see, everywhere, even in Brevard County, you have the magnets on everyone's car. There's a huge support, and Tim and them told me they did the numbers, and there's a lot of season ticket holders that are actually in Brevard County that commute over to Orlando City, including myself.
Are you going to be one of the Harbor City hooligans? It's a
Yeah,
supporter group that will be based here?
I'm excited that they're here, but I will not be part of that.
It's going to be a really, really big day, of course, to see that all come to fruition. Orlando City B is what they're calling it. If you look at some of the big powers worldwide, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they call their second team B. A lot of these USL teams, and it's kind of a new thing, this partnership with USL and MLS. These past couple of years, you've had LA Galaxy too. They opted not to go two. Let's go with the B because we can tie in Brevard, and that's a good marketing ploy.
Absolutely. I mean, again, they're marketing geniuses. What they've done in this short period of time, they've in Orlando and in here, it's amazing. And yeah, it's really exciting. There's going to be 30 teams in the USL, we're the only one in Florida. They'll be, coming from Canada, we'll be in the Eastern Conference, and we're really excited about it.
And as far as you and your staff here, does this increase the workload, or do you kind of yield to the USL folks and Orlando City folks once that season gets started?
Yeah, they'll do the majority of the game day management. I'll have some work behind the scenes, but games, they're doing the game day management for that. So not a lot of work, but the work we do have, we're excited to have.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to keep you right here. We'll put on the women's soccer hat after this. We'll finish talking about the Orlando City B. They are coming here this spring to share the field with the #1 team in the nation. The women's soccer program. We'll talk with Jeff about their exploits, now 11-0, right after this on Inside Titan Sports.
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe. We turn our attention now to the women's soccer program, as we always do, the #1 team in the nation. Jeff Carr back with us, the head women's soccer coach, and for the first time this season on Inside Titan Sports, Rosalina Lindo, the sophomore midfielder who's now gone on 6 goals, and this really kind of coming into her own as well here this sophomore season as well. So welcome.
Thank you.
How are things been going? It's kind of been a dream season so far for you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Being my sophomore season, we were just ready to get the ball rolling again after being so successful last year. So it's exciting to be undefeated at this point and get into the postseason after we finish out our conference games.
Jeff, fresh off a couple of big victories, you get a win against a highly ranked Darton State. It's the second time you were able to beat them 6-1, and then the big night that happened just earlier this week when you take out Brevard College 5-0, and it seemed easy, but there's a lot of pressure riding on that because that captured a conference championship. And congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you. But yeah, definitely captured a conference championship, but more importantly, helped us remain undefeated. You know, that's our goal, is to finish the season undefeated, to have the #1 seed at the national tournament. So we're still on course for that. And it was nice to win the conference and know that we're off to Mississippi the weekend of November 6th or 7th to play the Mississippi winner to go to the national tournament.
Rosalina, what's it like playing for this team, but also having to keep the eyes on the prize? Because sometimes there have been a lot of lopsided results. You harken back to the recent trip to Illinois. It's kind of tough is it tough to keep focus and kind of keep, when things are coming easy that way, when you know things are going to get more difficult going forward?
Well, we've kind of set our eyes on the national tournament since the beginning, and because of the way we went out last year, we've just been hungry to go back to that point even further. So every game we just are thinking about taking care of business in this game and then what's next, so the national tournament and all of that. So it's exciting to be able to have that in the back of your head while going out and playing these games. So every day we just want to keep working and keep getting better.
Rosie's a sophomore. You have a number of players who returned to the roster. Did you notice their hunger in the preseason, coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. They're very focused as a group, and the team chemistry is amazing. I think that's one of the reasons we have been so successful so far this year. I mean, they just love each other and play for each other and hang out off the field as well. Special group of young ladies.
Noticed in the post-game interview, because we had the game on WEFS TV against Broward, Coach didn't seem the happiest with their performance, and it's a 5-0 victory against a conference rival. And what are some of the things you feel you didn't do well? It's hard for me to even ask that, but what things needed to be improved on at that point?
Well, the score is 5-0, but you could tell by just watching the game, in the beginning, we started off slow, and we still have things to work on with each game. If you look at the score, it says 5-0, that's great, but when we're actually playing, there's things that we could do better and things that we need to sharpen up for the national tournament and for the postseason that sometimes we struggle with, and then some games were brilliant. So it's just, we have to find that consistency with our play.
Jeff, you and I have talked about ad nauseum on each and every appearance you have on this show is about peaking at the right time. Where are you at? I mean, are we at that point now? Okay, we've got to be at our best. We've got 2 games to go, 2 games we should win in the regular season, and now it really gets for real.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we need to be sharper than we have been. I mean, against Dart in the first half, that was probably the best half we've played this year, and then we kind of stepped back a bit against Broward. But yeah, we got to get sharp. We got to get everyone healthy. We have 2 of our starters out right now. Bunny's playing for the national team. I'll be back this weekend, and then Helen's been out sick right now. So we got to get them back and get in a rhythm. And hopefully, we'll have them both back for our last game against Broward at Broward to kind of start getting ready to go to Mississippi to play that crucial playoff game.
As somebody who's competed in athletics at a very, very low level and played soccer, I always what it would be like to play on such an exciting team that likes to score goals, and you're kind of part of this machine. And what's it like, and how fun is that when you've got players like Paula and Bunny that are out there playing with the interchange and the play? Soccer is supposed to be fun, and I'm sure it is. It seems that way.
Well, it's just exciting because we can trust players like Paula and Bunny that when they get the ball, they're going to create something. So it's exciting to know that we have so many players on our team who can create something out of nothing. Like Paula has a number of goals, Julia, Bunny, and even though we score a lot of goals in games, each one of them is exciting, whether it's a nice goal or something off of their mistake. It's just exciting to be able to do that and to produce the scores that we are. So.
It seems like when you win, everybody embraces their roles too, and everybody is playing a part for this team right now.
Absolutely. Our defense, our keepers, our midfield, Abby and Bree, have 18 assists and I think 14 assists, and I think Paula has 14 assists. So they get as much out of setting up someone as putting the goal in the back of the net. So it is really exciting, and we're breaking school records. I mean, we've broken the record for goals for the season. We've blown that out of the water, and I think we're number 2 in the country in assists as a team. So it's really exciting, but everyone's been involved in our success. So.
Tell us about that 6th goal you had against Darton, and it was such an important game to have a goal like that. Is that one of the ones you remember?
Yeah, it definitely is. If you would have asked what the game was going to be like before. We were all nervous, completely nervous, because Darton is a good team, and playing a top 5 team at any point is just kind of exciting. And so in the locker room, we all had jitters, and then once we got things going, we just played one of the best games we've played all season and started racking up the goals. And then when I scored, I didn't really expect to beat her because she was a very good keeper, the keeper for Darton. So it was just like an exciting moment to be able to score that goal, and my team celebrated with me, and so it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, and you keep bossing these games against the technically the really good teams like Darton, and then you've got the conference, which has really kind of been a breeze in some ways. Do you feel you've been challenged enough? Because once you go to Mississippi, it's going to get ratcheted up a little bit.
Well, absolutely, that'll be a huge game. But they challenge each other every practice, every session, going against each other. We have some high quality players from the starting 11 till those coming off the bench. So they're battling each other, and they're making each other better each and every practice. But definitely got to be more focused, got to be sharp. Don't take anything for granted. That hopefully we'll get through Mississippi, and then there's some really special teams at the national tournament this year. So lots ahead, lots of work still. But we're excited about the opportunity.
Rosalind, while we have you, you're a sophomore out of Jacksonville Mandarin. What brought you to Eastern Florida State College, and what do you hope to do when you leave here? Because you are a sophomore, and this is kind of the last hurrah.
Yeah, it's tough to think about. I came here out of my high school, and I was recruited in a state cup game. And once I got to the program, I just realized how special it really is. And as a sophomore, I'm kind of stressed, looking to see where I want to transfer to. We all are, but it's exciting, and we're looking forward to taking care of business in Mississippi, and then hopefully the national tournament where we can get even more exposure with all the coaches coming to watch and all of that. So.
Well, before you get to Mississippi, you've got Polk State, and you get to go down to Broward as well. How do you approach those games? Is this a time to get some of the other contributors out on the field, or a time to really hone things?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. We really want to hone things, and we need to take care of business, winning both of those games and getting better as we finish the season out. So, again, one of the goals is to be undefeated. So we're just kind of a one game at a time mentality.
Undefeated, that's important, right? Being number one, because the objective is winning, but it is nice to see your name there at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we hope you guys stay there. We'll talk to you, of course, in the coming weeks. Best of luck as you close the season out. We expect them to be undefeated at the end. Rosalina Lindo, Jeff Carr, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll shift gears a bit. We'll stay outside, and we'll talk a little softball with head coach Ed Giannis. When we come back, the final segment of Inside Titan Sports.
This is where we're building the future. This is where we meet the challenge, where leaders emerge and careers take flight. This is where you discover new opportunities. Choose to stand where excellence lives, where Titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm Jeff Radcliffe, and we enter our final segment now as we turn our attention to the softball program for the first time during Inside Titan Sports this season. And my pleasure to introduce Ed Giannis, who right now in the middle of the fall season, or the fall preseason, if you will, and just kind of finishing things up. And how are things going right now?
Good afternoon, Jeff. It's going pretty well. The season has been a learning curve, as it is coming out of high school. The first couple weeks we get into the season, when you're playing Florida Gulf Coast University or University of Central Florida, it's kind of hard to set the barometer against those two teams, but coming in the last couple weeks, the kids are starting to understand their roles and type of things of what the program is going to entail, because quite honestly, it's probably a cultural shock for some of them coming out of high school. The initial, you have your summer ball coach and your high school coach. If they're not the same program, and then you have a college coach within a 3-month span, it takes a little time to get the kids to understand the system or the nuances of a new coaching philosophy or a new terminology, if you will. So we're finally turning that corner a little bit. We have about a couple weeks left to go, and then we'll shut it down for the school season. But I think they're making some good progress. They're starting to buy into the system. We have about a 50-50 ratio this year, about 10 or so sophomores out of the 18 or so kids, and we're expecting a couple more in January. But it's a good barometer, or a good team chemistry, if you will. And have the sophomore leadership, last year we were freshman heavy going into the postseason or into the spring season. So this year I think they're able to draw off of that and understand what it takes to be able to compete at the next level, at a high level. And so I think it's going to be a good curve, a good balance, if you will, in the fall, going into the spring. We're looking forward to it.
Your program has reached, and this is a testament to you and your coaching staff, has reached the state tournament in 11 straight years. You've been here now for 13. Talk about expectations. It's just kind of the way it is supposed to be. It's a regularity to be successful here.
Well, you're very kind in thinking it's our coaching staff. We put everything all on the kids. Over the years, we're trying to find the right kids that want to buy into a system and believe us, and maybe doing things a little bit differently. So it's us just trying to find the right kids that want to come in here and do the things the right way. So I appreciate you're giving us the credit, but it's all on them. We just put the lines on the field.
Sure.
Sometimes they're not as straight. I let our coaching staff take care of that because they get a little crooked out there when I do them. But yeah, it's all on them, and they have a fantastic job to come in here and believe us. And sometimes a little bit different. So when that culture shock comes in and they're in the gym at 5:30 in the morning, going to the CrossFit, and then go to class and then come to practice, it's a little bit of a daunting task, but going into it, all these last several years, it's been on them. So, we get the credit of going to the state tournament or whatever you want to call it, but it's all on them, and we appreciate their hard work and dedication because some days it's a little difficult. As you know, we all have to go to work some days we don't want to, and going to the gym, I'm sure not every one of them at 5:30 in the morning is excited to go to the CrossFit gym and flip tires and everything else, but the last several years, we've been fortunate enough to make the postseason, and it's getting them to realize what they're doing in August, flipping those tires and jumping those boxes, to helping us out into March and April and be able to sustain the bat speed and the arm strength moving forward.
Is there a certain type of player you like to recruit to Eastern Florida State College that kind of fits the mold of what you guys are trying to do on the field but off as well?
You mentioned a key point on and off the field. First of all, we look at kids that want to come here. We want the ones that want to come here. If they're coming here looking to go somewhere else afterwards, fantastic. Yeah. If they're coming here with an eye that they didn't get a chance to go somewhere else, but this is their second bet, then we typically don't want those kids, only because we know they're not going to last. So one of the biggest things, it's not a cliche for us, we were fortunate enough last year, the GPA title is kind of something that state tournament title would be nice, but we won the GPA title last year for the kids, awesome. And they did a fantastic job. And we kind of said it with a little tongue-in-cheek at the end of our exit meetings when the kids go, hey, Coach, I had a great year. How'd you do in school? I got all A's, and we look at each other and go, yeah, I'm sure, but last year they did. And it was a fantastic job to do that. And we want the kids that are going to be here in March and April. Recruiting sometimes is a little difficult. As you know, you only get to see kids on the field, and sometimes you do your homework off the field, but it takes a special kid that wants to come here and buy into the system and do things the way we want it to be done, because we have no bones about having our exit meeting early if we need to. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If they're not doing the things that they need to do, we just ask them to shake hands and part ways. But the last several years, it's been very fortunate enough to have the right group of kids and the right background. When we have our parent meeting and our move-in meeting, you can tell the kids come from a quality background and a quality family setting and they're entrusting their kids and their daughters into us. And I have 2 daughters, so I want to make sure that when they get here that we do the best we can for them and move them on.
For those who don't know, Coach Giannis here is a Titan at heart. You actually played at Eastern Florida State College under Coach Rosso. You're a baseball guy, and that's a question a lot of people want to know. What are the similarities and differences when you've come up playing baseball? Obviously, there are similarities between the games, True. But you have to make some adjustments here, especially when you're coaching.
We've had, over the years, going in our 12th, 13th year, I'm bad at numbers. Coach Y, our fantastic assistant, can't able to tell you, but we've had parents in our meetings, in our scouting reports with them, or scouting meetings with them, say that baseball and softball are 2 different worlds, and we've actually we shook hands and said, okay, wish you the best of luck. But there's a very few nuances. We always kid with the kids. You hit the ball and you run to the right, so does baseball. You still get 3 outs. We still have to pick it, catch, and throw it. Now, what we do a lot, or I kind of drive the kids crazy sometimes, because on my new phone, they call it my iPad, but it's an actual phone, but because they make fun of my eyes, I can't see it because it's so big. But there's 162 games a year in baseball. And I get on the top 10 every morning, or ESPN every morning, and watch during the baseball season, and I video things that we've gone over. Coach Kim Overby, my assistant coach, she says my book that I carry beginning of the season is called the Book of Knowledge, because everything we go through, we go from on-deck circle to base running, et cetera, infield turning double plays. But when I go to ESPN and I video the top 10, if it's an outfield spin move in the corner, if it's breaking up a double play, I show them the top 10 plays. If it's a bad swing, especially if it's a good swing in hitting, whether it's baseball or softball, the similarities are the same. And I try to get them to look at it and go, okay, that's what we're working on. They're doing it in baseball, they're doing it in softball. And you got Jessica Mendoza now on ESPN doing baseball color commentary. She brings a different light to it, and she understands that, hey, these are the same. She talks about her background playing baseball growing up, so it does help.
Well, you have some cred. You were drafted not once but twice into Major League Baseball and into the minors and everything. Does that come with, I guess, build a little respect? Does that breed a little bit? And were they listening to where you're coming from there?
Again, I was talking to Rosie just beginning. It's funny, we're talking about that. Being as a coach, sometimes, because my daughter loves soccer, she plays soccer, and she watches the younger kids, or the older kids, excuse me, and when she goes to the game and sees that they're working on the triangle defense in her practice, but they're actually doing it, or offense, excuse me, in the big girl soccer, it has credit. So when I show some things on ESPN, I say, look, I'm not making this stuff up. This is actually happening, certain things. So it's not credit for me. The guys and the girls are doing it. I'm just pointing them in the right direction. Sometimes as a coach, you have to coach in a third party. As a parent, as you know, you mentioned you're picking your daughter, your son, your kids up today early.
Sure.
You have to coach and teach third party. I'll go work out with my daughter in soccer. I said, I didn't make it up. Coach said to do it this way. So we do the same thing with baseball and softball.
I love it. Coach Giannis is like the Yogi Berra of collegiate softball. Looking forward to seeing the ladies in action here this spring. I know you're going to have another successful season. Thanks for joining us this week, and look forward to our next chat.
Quite well. Thank you.
That's Ed Giannis, head coach of the softball program at Eastern Florida State College. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have. I'd like to thank all my guests, Coach Giannis, Coach Carr, Rosalina Lindo, and I'd like to thank you personally for joining us here on Inside Titan Sports. For more information, log on to the website, easternflorida.edu/athletics, or just make sure to join us every Thursday on WEFS here on Inside Titan Sports. I'm Jeff Radcliffe saying so long and go Titans.